Morning, guys. I just woke up and I'm traveling to see my friends and stuff over Thanksgiving, staying in a hotel, but I still wanted to make some videos. I gotta be honest with you, I've just been like super pissed for the past few days. What triggered my anger was the result of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. I don't want to go into the details of it too much. It's become very polarized and I don't want to add to that polarization. I'm just going to talk about why I'm getting a little bit triggered. Is I do not believe open carry is a good gun policy for an urban environment. I think that if you're going to have guns in an urban environment, it needs to be concealed carry because there exists, a lot of people who might have sort of be struggling with mental illness around who could be triggered by the visibility of these guns. And, I do believe that the future of gun legislation is going to have to be, to some degree, different rules for cities and the country because they have different problems. Why I'm feeling so angry, and I guess kind of oscillating between anger and fear, if I'm honest, is I am really afraid that we're setting a precedent that is going to make the cities more dangerous. I'm afraid that people who aren't living in the cities are doing things or are going to take actions that are going to make the cities less safe. You kind of have people who don't understand the environment, who don't understand the unwritten rules, how to stay safe in a city or how to keep a city safe, taking kind of action and doing that. And so that also has me worried, and it also has me angry because just almost no one seems to be talking, like, to my degree, sense on this. And it's pulled me in a place where I have a lot of blame, and I was really struggling with empathy, and especially lacking empathy, especially for people with very conservative point of views on gun rights, I will say. I still feel a little angry kind of thinking about it. And anyway, and so I got out this book that I actually like when I'm dealing with anger. It's actually by Gandhi's grandson. It's called The Gift of Anger. I was reading through it to kind of remind myself. It's funny because when I was in high school, I was really all about nonviolence and pacifism and all that. And as an adult, I've struggled with it more. I remember one time when I was young, I read a quote by the Dalai Lama about dealing with anger and what did you do if you wanted to kill someone? And the Dalai Lama said, well, of course, sometimes you want to kill someone, but you don't. And that's the beautiful thing. Then you don't. And then you've dealt with your anger. And I was shocked. I was like, who would ever want to kill anyone? The Dalai Lama wants to kill someone. That's crazy. But then as an adult, after I had been sexually assaulted a few times, after I'd dealt with stalkers and things like that, suddenly my own commitment to not violence became a lot harder. And anyway, and it was nice to read The Gift of Anger because the grandson who wrote it, Arun Gandhi, he'd experienced a lot of racism, a lot of like pretty bad stuff, and was grappling with sort of how to deal with his anger around that. And it was sort of nice when I was a naive teenager and nothing bad happened to me yet, it was really easy to exist and not really be that angry and have these nonviolent ideals. And I guess I'm trying to work my way back to that as a grown-up. And I think that the big takeaway for me about this book, or where the young Gandhi kind of talks about it, is basically he went and he spent 2 years with his grandfather, the famous Gandhi, to kind of work through his anger. And the sort of conclusion they came to was that, anger in and of itself is kind of just energy. It's a very motivating emotion. It gives you a lot of energy. And that's kind of a good thing. But where you decide to put your action or put your behavior is what matters. So do you put your behavior somewhere vengeful, or do you put your behavior towards kind of action that might make positive influence? I kind of gave you my sort of processed version of my anger over the past few days, but it kind of wasn't initially like that. I initially had a lot of anger at basically my perception that conservative people were not valuing liberal people's lives. That was fueling a lot of my anger, and it was really reducing me understanding what was happening from their point of view. And I don't know what's happening from the conservative point of view, but I think, they're worried that the country is getting out of control, that, there's violence everywhere, that they're going to be unsafe if they go to certain places, maybe things of that nature. I'm not completely sure. I think it's something like that. And when I reflect on that, what I also reflect on is I think the amount of violence that's happening in liberal cities is being exaggerated on conservative news sources. I think these conservative news sources exaggerate that to sort of get more views and things of that nature. If I read there's something like over 9,000 Black Lives Matter protests, of which a handful turned violent. Well, if a handful of 9,000 protests turned violent, you're not going to report on the 8,995 that were safe. You're going to report on the 5 that went violent, right? I think that it's making conservatives think that liberal cities are a lot more dangerous than they are, and that is triggering a fear in them, a desire to be armed, a desire to be safe when they go to these cities. And I find this all very, very frustrating. But I think, and much like, I believe the actual murder in the Kyle Rittenhouse thing itself, I believe a lot of this is happening from a miscommunication and an error. And I can see that when I'm angry and when I'm blamey, I further that miscommunication by vilifying people who are thinking liberal cities are dangerous. It makes it so I can't explain. I don't think they're as dangerous as you might think. I think that people are exaggerating this so you can get more. They can get more views on social media and on TV. And yeah, I still need to find something to do with my anger. What grandson Gandhi thinks is, he says, you want to try to find something productive that you can do with it and use all of that energy that anger gives you to do something useful. And so, I think that I might start looking into especially open carry reform, looking through Americans' view on guns. I think that people don't want to get rid of guns right now, in part because they don't trust the government. I don't agree with that. However, I do believe in democracy, and so even though I personally would rather have more gun control, I can accept that doesn't seem like it's going to happen in the larger field right now. But maybe if we particularly open up people's eyes to the danger of open carry in urban environments, we might be able to start really questioning open carry, which is very recent, by the way. It used to historically be more like concealed carry, but this recent move towards open carry, maybe things like that we could start questioning. Or even if you had open carry, that people had to get a license for it, like you had to do with a car, so you knew that they were aware of, that you need to be very careful around people with mental illness and things like that, or people behaving erratically, or people you need to give a wide berth to. There must be a compromise there. There has to be. So anyway, I'm going to try to put some of my angry energy into thinking towards that. I guess that's all I got for now. Everyone watching this is doing well and had a happy Thanksgiving. Bye.